Sometimes we walk through each other's lives like strangers passing in the night. Not enemies, not friends, just two souls who never truly touched. We build this story with silent chapters and empty pages, a connection so fragile that it never really existed in the first place. We are nothing to each other, not because we failed, but because we never truly tried to understand the weight of each other's silence. When two hearts beat in separate rhythms, the music dies before it even begins, and all that's left is the echo of nothingness. Additional Bachpan quotes, our story isn't one of love or hate. It's the quiet space between, where two people forget why they mattered at all. We are shadows in each other's memories. Familiar yet distant, forever apart despite the closeness we once sought. The hardest truth is realizing some people are meant to be strangers, even when they share the same space. Sometimes, the most painful distance is not miles, but the space between two souls who once dreamed together. We are echoes in a canyon of forgotten promises, words spoken but never heard, feelings felt but never seen. In the story of us, the pages are blank. Not out of neglect, but because nothing real ever grew between the lines. We tried to write a poem together, but our verses never matched, leaving only silence in the gaps. To be nothing to someone is not absence of love. It's the absence of recognition in a world full of faces. We are strangers who know each other's names, yet remain lost in the labyrinth of unspoken truths. No fight, no goodbye. Just the quiet unraveling of two threads never meant to weave a tapestry. We were the passing breeze that never stirred the leaves, a presence felt but never held. To be nothing to each other is to live parallel lives, on the same path, never intersecting beyond a glance. The hardest part isn't being forgotten. It's knowing we were never truly remembered. We were a spark that never caught flame, just the faintest glow fading into darkness. There's comfort in realizing some connections were never meant to deepen the on-surface reflections. We were the quiet before the storm, but the storm never came, just stillness that separated us. To be nothing to each other is the freedom of forgetting, a release from expectations unfulfilled. We pass through each other's lives like a fleeting dream, vivid yet impossible to grasp upon waking. Some bonds break, but some simply dissolve into the mist of indifference. We are the spaces between the words, the pauses that say everything we never dared to speak. Not all endings come with closure. Sometimes they come with a quiet nothingness. We are mirrors, reflecting strangers, unable to see beyond our own faded images. In the dance of life, we were two steps out of sync, never finding rhythm together. Sometimes the greatest pain is in knowing you meant nothing to someone you meant everything to. We are the forgotten pages in each other's stories, stories that will never be told. We are two melodies that never harmonized, leaving a haunting silence behind. To be nothing to each other is to be free from the weight of expectation and the burden of pain. We are ghosts in each other's pasts, remembered faintly, then lost in time's shadows. Sometimes, the end is not a goodbye. It's simply an acknowledgement of never having begun. We are footprints in the sand, erased by waves before anyone could trace their meaning. The distance between us is not measured in miles, but in the spaces where love failed to grow. We are strangers, wrapped in familiar clothes, faces seen but hearts unseen. To be nothing to each other is to find peace that comes when we stop pretending. We were like stars in separate skies, shining but never in the same constellation. We are the silence that follows the last word, the stillness after the final breath. Sometimes the hardest goodbye is the one that never happened. We are leaves falling from the same tree, carried away by winds that never met. We are two ships passing in the night, close enough to see but too far to touch To be nothing to each other is to find peace in moving on without bitterness or regret. We are the cracks in a mirror, fragments of a whole never repaired. Sometimes, being nothing to someone is the kindest way to be free. We were words left unsaid, stories left untold, love left unclaimed. We are the fading echo of a song no one remembers anymore. To be nothing to each other is to release the weight of what never was. We were like two parallel lines, forever close, but never meant to meet. Sometimes, being nothing to each other is the quiet ending that he fight. We are the unfinished phone calls, words that hang in the air, never reaching ears. We are reflections in broken glass, distorted, fragmented, and impossible to piece together. We held hands in a dream, but woke to find we were strangers once again. We are chapters skipped over, pages torn out from a book that never fully opened. The silence between us speaks louder than any argument ever could. We are the forgotten names in a diary, written once, then left behind. To be nothing to each other is to accept the beauty of impermanence. We are the faded footprints on a path no one remembers walking. Sometimes, not belonging to each other is the kindest way to find ourselves. We are two voices lost in the wind, heard briefly, then gone. We are memories in sepia, tone, beautiful, distant, and forever out of reach. The weight of being nothing to each other is lighter than carrying false hope. We are two notes in a song that never found its chorus. Sometimes, being nothing to each other is the freedom to rewrite our own stories. We were the quiet breaths before sleep, unnoticed but essential to the night. We are the empty chairs at a table once set for two. To be nothing to each other is to find peace in the space between us. We are the unsent letters, words penned in silence, never shared. We are two stars fading into the blackness, each shining alone. Sometimes, letting go means becoming strangers with kindness instead of enemies with pain. We are the shadows of moments that never fully lived. To be nothing to each other is to stop holding on to ghosts. We are the gentle waves that touch the shore once, then drift back into the sea. We are the spaces left by a love that never quite blossomed. Sometimes, we must be nothing to each other to become everything to ourselves. We are the echoes of laughter in an empty room. We were stories half told. We were stories half told, dreams half shared, moments half lived. To be nothing to each other is to let go of what was never meant to be. We are the silent goodbyes whispered to the wind. We are two leaves caught in different currents, drifting apart without force or pain. Sometimes, the absence of connection is the clearest sign of growth. We are the unseen threads in a tapestry never woven. To be not to each other is to free ourselves from expectations unfulfilled. We are the soft glow of a candle burning, though dutiful but fading. We are two hearts beating in different rhythms, never syncing, never aligning. Sometimes, nothing means everything when the space needed to heal. We are the forgotten promises that once felt eternal. Courage to move forward alone. We are the quiet pauses between words, the breaths that say what can't be spoken. We are two strangers with shared history but no future. Sometimes, being nothing to each other is the kindest farewell. We are the gentle rains that fall unnoticed yet nourish the earth beneath. To be nothing to each other is to finally find peace in the unknown. We are the fading footprints on a path that led nowhere. We are two notes in a melody that never found its harmony. Sometimes, distance is the only answer to a question that can't be solved. We are the soft whispers of memories fading with time. To be nothing to each other is to let go without bitterness or regret. We are two candles burning out separately, never meeting flame. We are the silent space between two beating hearts. Sometimes, being nothing to each other is the beginning of finding ourselves. With new stories, to be nothing to each other is to accept the freedom of new beginnings. We are two stars fading from each other's skies. We are the shadows that disappear when the light returns. Sometimes, the hardest part is realizing we never really belong to each other. We are the quiet moments that slipped away unnoticed. To be nothing to each other is to embrace the peace of letting go. We are the unread messages in each other's inboxes, waiting but never opened. Sometimes, being nothing to each other is the calm after a storm we never saw coming. We are the empty spaces in a photograph, together, yet worlds apart. Together, yet worlds apart. To be nothing to each other is to accept the end of a story never fully written. We are two rivers that once ran close but now afloat to different seas. Sometimes, the hardest goodbye is the one spoken with silence. To be nothing to each other is to find peace in the absence of expectation. We are two melodies, playing side by side, never quite in tune. Sometimes, love fades not because it wasn't real, but because it wasn't meant to last. We are the quiet moments between heartbeats, brief, unnoticed, but deeply felt. We are strangers who once shared a glance, but never a future. Of 1,000 unsaid words, we are the soft echoes of laughter in an empty room. Sometimes, letting go means becoming strangers with grace and kindness. We are two stars that once shined in the same sky, now lost in separate galaxies. To be nothing to each other is to find the freedom to heal and grow. We are the silent tears shed in the dark, unseen but real. Sometimes, the hardest truth is that some connections are only meant to fade. We are pages torn from a book left unread. To be nothing to each other is to embrace the peace of moving on. We are two dancers out of step, never quite finding the rhythm. Sometimes, the quiet spaces speak louder than words ever could. We are the fading footprints on a path no one remembers. To be nothing to each other is to find strength in solitude. We are the unwritten letters that hold all the words we never said. Sometimes, love is knowing when to say goodbye without bitterness. We are two shadows crossing paths but never merging. To be nothing to each other is to accept the beauty of impermanence. We are the quiet moments that slipped away unnoticed. We are two stars that once shone brightly but now flicker alone. To be nothing to each other is to find peace in the space between, where the soft whispers of memories fading with time. Sometimes, the end is not a loss, but a new beginning. We are two rivers flowing in different directions, never to meet again. To be nothing to each other is to let go with grace and understanding. We are the echoes of moments that once mattered. Sometimes silence is the loudest goodbye. We are two leaves carried by different winds, drifting apart peacefully. To be nothing to each other is to find freedom in acceptance. Sometimes, being nothing to each other is the beginning of self-discovery. We are the fading light at the end of a long day. We are two melodies that once played together, now silent, apart. Sometimes, letting go is the bravest thing we can do. We are the quiet corners of forgotten rooms. To be nothing to each other is to embrace the unknown with open hearts. We are the gentle rain that falls softly and disappears without a trace. Sometimes, being nothing to each other means loving yourself enough to walk away. We are two stars whose light crossed once, then faded into darkness. To be nothing to each other is to find peace in letting go. We are the soft shadows that disappear with the morning light. Sometimes, the end of something opens the door to everything else. We are two hearts that beat out of sync, creating silence instead of song. To be nothing to each other is to find strength in solitude. We are the whispers of dreams that never came true. Sometimes, the kindest thing we can do is let go without regret. We are two souls who crossed paths briefly and walked away quietly.